Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be looking at the top 15 most valuable Barber Dimes, thinking about the different eras, varieties, and key dates that are found on these coins. There's tons of different ones. One of them will be worth over $1 million, and a lot of errors to look at here, but we're going to go from 15 and go all the way down to 1, discussing their values and what to look for along the way. At number 15, we have the 1906D Repunched Date and Mint Mark. The Repunched Mint Mark is evident, but it's really difficult to see. It's this little protruding D here on the right of the Mint Mark, and then over here, the doubling is also pretty, or repunching of the date. It's difficult to see a little bit towards the south here in the 6, but the thing is, if you have the repunched mint mark, that'll mean that you also have the repunched date. Different examples differ. This one's pretty circulated, so it's a lot harder to see, but it's worth about $18 in fine 12, 40 in extra fine 40, and $150 is the starting point for the mint state ones. Number 14 is the 1906S Repunched Date and Repunched Mint Mark, another one that's kind of difficult to see, but you can get some trace elements of it in the 0 here, as well as in the S. You can see a bit of the protrusion up here at the top of the S, this one being worth about $20 in fine 12, 55 in extra fine 40, up to $300 in a mint state. And there's lots of different versions of the repunching. Often it'll be a little more clear than the pictures that I have for you here, but this one was a certified one that I did find, so there's definitely a lot of them out there. Number 13, we have the 1907 Repunched Date. You can see it notably along the 9 in the inner part of the 9 and right here in that 9, and this one's going to be worth a little bit more now at around $30 in fine 12, 60 in extra fine 40, and $300 in MS 60. That'll bring us to 1892, yet another repunch date. There's lots of them. That's going to be the theme going along here. This one, though, there's a lot more places that you can see it. It's through the 8 here, and then also in the bottom of the 2, it's been clearly repunched there. 1892 is the first one in this series. 1892 to 1916 was the Barber Dimes, so it's kind of cool to have one from that year. And the costs on this one, similar to the last one, $30 in fine 12, 65 for an extra fine, and then $150 in MS 60. We'll see a slight increase in the price for the 1903 Repunched Date, which is around the 0 here, and then a little bit in the 9. Also, you can see how it comes out to the left of that 1. It's a little bit all over the place here, but this is going to be a $35 coin in 512, 70 extra fine 40, and $165 in MS 60. So definitely a little bit more than the regular prices on these coins. Number 10 is a little bit easier to talk about because the repunching is a lot more dramatic than the ones that we've been looking at in the past year. This time, the 1 really sticks out, as does the 8 and 9, and the 7 is a little bit to the right of the 7, but it's totally different. And the values on this one, we're thinking about $35 in fine 12, 70 in 40, and $150 to $170 in the lower mint state range, so very similar to our previous one. But we do get a little bit of a kick up in value in the 1907 O Repunched Mint Mark. This one is a southern variety, so you can see the O, meaning New Orleans, along closed down mint, is kind of coming out of the bottom of the O. In terms of this one, it's $45 in fine 12 this time, 90 in extra fine 40, and $225 in low mint state. So it's pretty neat. With that being said, though, let's take a look at our next one, another Repunched Mint Mark. This one can be a lot more dramatic, and there's 2 different states that we see it in here. One on the left, very, very dramatic to the left, and then here it's a little bit less so, but their bottom line, both going to be a fair amount of value attached to them. $50 this time in fine 12, 98 to 100 in a extra fine 40, so pretty worn, but not super worn. And then 300 plus in that lower mint state range. But again, it's this repunched S, and this one's a pretty findable one, so keep an eye out for it. And A common trend is for the easily seen varieties as opposed to the super detailed ones being worth more. Well, the 1896 Repunched Date is an example of that. Very strong protruding 9 and 6 here. That's easily seen. The values on this one are going to be about $60 in a fine 12, $135 in extra fine 40, and $190 in MS 60. So not super dramatic, but still a fair amount of money. Definitely something you want to keep an extra eye out for. Number 6, we have yet another Repunched Date, and I apologize if these are getting repetitive, but that's just a situation in terms of these valuable ones. This one, again, prominent and more valuable. The 9 is really the notable giveaway here. You can also see in the inside lip of the 9, and this one is going to be also $60 in fine 12, $140 in EF 40, and then $250 in MS 60. So a good chunk of money for something that's probably otherwise about $2 or $3 of a coin. Number 5, we have a repunched mint mark, and it's a lot more valuable than the one behind it. It's kind of significant in that sense, and you can see it, the O again being New Orleans, and that repunched mint mark is going to make this a $90 coin in fine 12, $200 for extra fine 40, and $500 for mint state, and it'll obviously get more than that in the future, but it's pretty small. Number 4, we have a really interesting variety with a little bit of a story that I'll need to explain. Basically, I don't think that NGC recognizes this. They no longer do, but PCGS does, so there's some contention. The way to identify it is a little vertical bar in the 3, and this is a pretty valuable one. If you do have it, it's going to be like $200 in fine 12, $400 in an extra fine, and $1,800 for mint state. But the thing is that not everybody recognizes it, so maybe it'll go away in the future, but if PCGS does, I view PCGS as pretty reliable. I'll allow this in my book to be in this list. Number 3, we have a key date coin, $300 in fine 12, $500 in extra fine 40, and $750 in mint state 60. This one was produced in San Francisco. I think it's a lower mintage one, not exactly sure, but it's one that you definitely want to be on the lookout for, and we're going to pair that with one that's a lot more valuable and still a key date, the 1895 O. This is also another one that's solely going to have its value derived from being a really rare date. This time, this one is worth about $1,200, so about 4 times more in fine 12, $2,700 in extra fine 40, which is about 5 times more, and then $6,000 in mint state 60. So as this one gets along, it really separates from the rest of the ones on this list. Definitely worth knowing. If you can pick out a 95O or 96S, that'd be pretty significant, but something that's even more significant than that, and this time by an exponential amount, is the 1894S proof dime. Now, most of the time, I think the proofs are going to be made at Philadelphia, but in this case, they made them at San Francisco. About 24 of them were made. They're really rare, and I believe that it's the most expensive dime really ever made that goes back in history. One of these sold for something like $1,997,000. So the values on these go for between $1 and $2 million. Not all of those 24 are still around. So this is super rare, one to look out for. But the cool thing is that there's so many repunched dates and different little intricacies on this Barber Dime series that if you pay attention for long enough, I'm sure that you're bound to eventually find one. So with that being said, good luck, and I'm glad that you were able to learn all about the Barber Dime series. Thanks for watching the video. If you haven't already, I'd encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay in contact with me on my Instagram, TreasureTownYT, Facebook, TreasureTown, or my website, TreasureTownYT.com. And I love receiving packages from you guys. I'll unbox them in a video once I get enough, and my address for that is TreasureTown, P.O. Box 201, Greenwich, Connecticut, 06836. So I'll see you on some of my other videos.